sendiri beb. Now we're talking.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right, we're getting people rolling in right now.
So guys, to introduce ourselves, this is Mark, the creative director of Loadout.
Of Edge Reality.
Of Loadout.
Well, yeah, of Loadout. I mean, we didn't need a lot of directing. The team really basically made a kick-ass game.
I mean, without you, we wouldn't be lost.
And this is Ty Root with some made-up title.
That's right.
What are you?
Whatever.
All right.
Brand
He's
manager.
a dude that makes things happen.
Yeah. So the way this is going to work, guys, is I need you to tweet any questions you have, because we're not really going to monitor the chat room very much. So tweet at Loadout any question you have. Try to use the hashtag weapons so I can filter through it. You can ask Mark mainly all the questions, because I'm not really going to be able to answer any.
That's fine. I'll answer whatever
I'm
I can.
dumb.
And if I don't know the answer, I'll make something up.
Good.
No big deal.
Awesome.
It'll be fun.
Control point.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoy the next hour of Loadout. We're really stoked for everyone to see it, and we'll get started. Kendall, go for it.
Team's been working hard, so I'm stoked to show this off here. All right, Kendall, I don't know what kind of weapon you're running around here with. We obviously got a 4-on-4 match going on, already in progress. And you've got a shotgun, obviously. You going sniper shotgun? You going back with your old standby? Is that what I can count on? All right.
Yeah. See a variety of weapons.
Kendall is our QA / community manager / badass at this game.
So definitely what you'll see here as you're watching the game, we're following Kendall around, but you'll see a lot of other weapons being used by a lot of other guys. I mean, of course, invented all these pieces. All these weapons were made out of pieces as they came. So I'll get familiar here with what weapons Kendall are using. If he sticks with a consistent loadout, I'll be able to... Okay, so we got a guided missile, obviously.
Well, let's quickly tell people what game mode this is real quick.
All right, this looks like we're doing...
This is the Blitz. This is CPR.
Okay, so we're doing CPR. So it's basically a domination type game. It is get as many bodies, live bodies, up in near the flag at any given time, and then you will slowly take the point. So up there at the top, you see the bar will tell you the status of it. Right now, the red team has got more kind of time in towards the flag, and they're currently, the HUD markers tell me they're currently got some people in there, which Kendall has conveniently cleared out. So he's now there, he's the only guy near the flag, and he's going to start capturing. You see the marker up at the top is telling you blue's making progress. Now that he's dead, red is on it. So when one team or the other fills up that bar in one direction, then they're going to switch on over and it'll find another flag point. And then everybody's got to find that flag point on the map and they'll fight over that space. So it looks like red's going to get the cap and they're up 1,000 to 0. Basically 2 to 1. It's 500 points per.
So, Mark, what is the? Let's give them the general consensus of what Loadout is as a game. Just
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
People can get the kind of backstory behind it.
So you'll see visually here, this it's Gonzo. Like we've heard in one review, somebody described it as it's basically an FPS. It looks like what was it? It was Looney Tunes, as if it was directed by Quentin Tarantino, which is a great description of the style of this thing. It's cartoony, but it's super hyper violent. If you look at this stuff, actually, it's got a realistic sort of shapes to everything, even though we're shading it kind of with a different shader. We've got our own look to it. The gameplay itself is centered. So you get a bunch of pieces, you put together pieces, you make a weapon. You can make a bunch of different weapons that you can then switch between inside of the game. You can make your own loadout of whatever 2 weapons you want to bring in any given game, depending upon what you think your role is going to be and what kind of game it is. So you're making your own weapons, and in a sense, you're rolling your own class. So let's say, for example, I like being a support class because my up close elite shooting skills are not in the top of my game here. So as a support class, a lot of times I'm thinking, what do I want to do? Who do I want to help out? Like if Kendall's on my team, I'm thinking, how can I make it so that he's got a little bit better chance to have more time fighting, or how can I soften up the enemy in order to get him so that he's in there kicking ass? So what I might make, for example, is I might make a weapon where I'm being able to do a guided missile and maybe catch people on fire, which probably won't kill them, but I'm hitting a large area with a little bit of damage. I know if Kendall gets into one-on-one battle with somebody and the other guy's at 80% health, Kendall's going to sweep him up. And then the other thing I might go for, of course, is healing. We've got overheal in the game, and again, depending upon the game type and what my team's like, I might make any kind of different healing gun. I could make one up close, like a shotgun. I could make an assault healing gun. I could make one that's long range.
This actually leads me to a good question that one of the Twitter followers asked, U4I XXX has asked, could you run us through the weapon customization? We're not going to be showing a lot of that in this particular stream, but Mark will be happy
I
to
can certainly describe
talk
it.
about it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Go for it.
So let's see if Kendall's... Okay, so Kendall's currently got a healing gun of some kind. And if you switch to your secondary weapon, are you using healing pretty much throughout right now, Kendall?
I switched to sniper healing, Hypocrite's Oath.
Okay,
One
so,
of the
sniper
weapons.
healing gun.
Yeah.
So let's take that gun as an example. There's a basic chassis to it, and in this case, it is a bullet rifle. So then at that point, bullet rifle has got a whole bunch of different pieces that then all together define what that thing is going to do. In the case of a sniper rifle healing gun, I imagine that you've got a sniper scope, you've got a healing payload, and then there's a whole bunch of other options then you can make to determine how exactly it's going to work. So, when you shoot that thing out, is it going to be kind of semi-automatic fire? Is it going to be one-shot fire? Is it going to be something else, charged shot? There's a lot of options you have in terms of the trigger, in terms of the number of shots you get before you have to reload, how much kickback you've got every time you fire. So depending upon all the pieces Kendall's put together to make a particular sniper healing rifle, it will work differently, and then also he can go in there and tune a lot of stuff to make it exactly the way he likes it.
Yeah, and in this match, in this game mode, having a healing rifle or somebody on your team that actually is supporting you with healing is really beneficial to the gameplay, because as you try to capture points, you can heal your teammates as they're waiting for that point to capture. So without a healer, this mode's very difficult. And if you have a healer on your team that's just sole purpose is dedicated to healing your other teammates, then you have a lot more chances for success.
And just to carry the kind of weapon crafting discussion and answer the question even more, if I were playing this game mode, I would be looking at making two different types of weapons. And the two weapons I carry would leave me vulnerable to in-close combat, but I would be looking to have like a KD of like 0.5, but having my team win. That would be kind of my strategy going in.
Yeah.
And what I would load up is I would make one weapon that is just there to pour hate onto the capture point. So I would do a charge trigger with a multi-launcher rocket launcher that carries a fire payload and blows into cluster on manual detonation. I would put it on manual detonation because I'm going to be the one guiding it with the guided sight. So what I would be able to do with that is I'd be able to sit across the level, dump fire onto the capture point, and burn everybody up. And the second thing I would get is I would get a healing payload, something probably in a medium range, so that when we run up to the capture point, I can be support in the back and healing guys as they're trying to hold the point. Yeah. And with that weapon, I would probably go with a pulse rifle and put it on burst fire, something that's got a good spread so I don't have to aim really, really well, and I'm still healing guys up.
Yeah, and what you also guys see really quickly is you notice that Kindle is actually switching to different payloads as he after he dies. You're allowed to actually go and switch out your weapons, so you're not always stuck with one weapon. If you're a healer, if you're playing that class for your team, you're not stuck to just that weapon. You can actually move on. Now he's doing a little taunt there.
Not only that,
but
I guess it bears pointing out that when we say if you're a healer, you're really defining your class by what weapons you carry. So there's no like us telling you what that class means. So if you're going to be a healer class, we're not going to say, oh well, then your off weapon's got to be gimped in some way. You make two weapons. That's your loadout, and you can make any two weapons you want with the pieces you got. You can also have multiple loadouts. So every time you die, you can switch loadouts. So if the healer wasn't working, or if there's no healer on your team, you need to switch to it, or if there's a sniper on the other team and it's time to get up close and dirty, you can switch to another loadout that you've defined. So the game gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of how you're going to play and what you can do and experiment with the weapon system. Kendall's team, by the way, is getting wiped up. I just want to point that out. I can see from the bottom the score is 3,500. I'm sure Kendall's got a fine KD, but maybe he's focusing a little too much on ego battles and not enough on the team objective.
yeah, Kendall, what's your deal, man?
I'm showing off weapons.
So you're just showing off weapons. So that's the reason your team's losing 3,000 to 5?
Yep.
All right. What are you carrying on you, by the way, now?
I have a grenade launcher and the Ghostbuster.
Nice. All right, get up there in that point, freaking clear house. Good. Take it away. All right, like I said before, this game type, it involves capturing this point that Kendall just burned up near. Whoever has got live bodies near that point, they're the ones capturing the point. So right now, we can see Kendall's team the blue team, is got a lot of guys over there on the point, and they're capturing it. The bar up top tells you how close they are. And they've just captured it, so finally now they've got some more points on the board. And it looks like maybe this won't be a complete blowout.
We have to tell you that when Kendall decides to actually play for his team,
Yeah, no, he's a good player.
he's kind of like a Terrell Owens, where like, you know, sometimes he's there for you,
I see.
he'll be a good teammate, and a lot of times he just kind of wants to be a showboat.
We don't know whether or not he chokes during the playoffs. We really haven't had
No.
a season yet, so we don't know whether or not he's a pressure player.
So he might be like LeBron.
He could be a LeBron.
He could be a little bit of LeBron. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously the match ended.
The bad guys won.
Kendall's team lost.
Yeah. So maybe if we stop, messing with Kendall so much while he's playing, he might be able to show us some of his stuff.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to see him grab a loadout that he likes and just sort of stick with it for one game, just so we can kind of see him in his element for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean we're trying to show you
have a loadout you like,
a variety of weapons here.
Yeah.
So
He's thinking about which one he's going to get on right now.
he's getting some direction from our floor director right now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But
all right, so
they're about to begin the next match.
Here you can. Oh wait, actually it's showing us, but on the
Yes.
screen right now he was picking from his weapons locker. So as you make weapons, you actually have this big full-out weapons locker of weapons, and then you can define your loadouts by grabbing 2 at a time. So let's say you've made a guided missile healing support weapon, and you've named that. Like, let's say you've named that. What would that be? Long arm of the law or whatever. Long arm of the heal.
Yeah.
So then you've got that weapon there with your name sitting in your weapons locker, and then you can assign that to any loadout you want. So that plus your flame shotgun, now that would be a particular loadout you could use, and you could pick it anytime you die. You go, wait, no, it's time for me to switch to this loadout.
Yeah. Well, let's answer some more questions
Cool.
here. One of the MLG guys, Gohan, asked, "Will you be able to use a controller to play this on PC?"
Good question. So yeah, absolutely. We've got it. We're coming out Steam PC,
I'm in game, so.
but the team has actually wired it up so that a controller, if you've got a controller, USB controller, whatever, hooked up to your PC, that will work. And the controls on the controller are actually quite sweet.
Yeah, they're nice. They work really well.
Yeah.
And can you customize weapons like grenades? If yes, how much? This is from Adrian. I don't even know how to pronounce that last name. Don't even worry about it.
From Adrian, well, that's Cha, maybe a Cha for the CZ,
Yeah.
Chapla. Okay, so you're going to be able to customize weapons and the way your dude looks and the way the weapon looks. So inside the weapon, there's a bunch of pieces. You'll be earning pieces as you level up and do things in the game. You put that together and you make your weapon. Now, the outside can also be customized section by section. So if you wanted, say, a red weapon with a gold barrel and gold trim, because you think maybe you're Iron Man or some other, then you could run around with that thing. And then your guy himself, you can get pieces, shirts and hats and eye patches and tighty-whities and whatever you want to do with your guy and customize that. That's what we're going to be going out with for our beta testers here real soon as we expand out to get more beta testers.
And by the way, guys, make sure that you also go to loadout.com to sign up for the beta. We are accepting applications right now, and please just go sign up. We hope to get the beta out later this summer, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah. When we say summer, that's the point where we're saying like everybody who wants in will be able to get in, but we are letting people in like gradually before that even, as the tech guys tell us it's okay. So definitely get yourself signed up. The earlier you are in there, the earlier you're going to get in and be able to play with us.
So Mark, right now I'm using sniper shotgun. Mostly going to be using shotgun to get inside.
What the hell was I talking about before we talked about that, by the way? Oh, I didn't answer the question about grenades. So
grenades, can you customize grenades?
Here's a really important thing to say. We are going to be supporting this game for years. I mean, we're going to be building on this. We got a ton of ideas of stuff we want to do, but we also want people to be playing the basic game. So we're going to get the game you're watching here out there so everybody can play it, and then we're going to start adding all kinds of stuff. We've already got ideas for how we're going to add like clan support built in there and do things so that if you're a clan, you've got all these interesting challenges and a long form game where you're gaining territory and stuff. Customizing equipment is also on our list of stuff we want to do, so that grenades would be made by putting the same pieces you put in the weapon into grenades. Initially, no, it's not going to work that way, but yes, it's an awesome idea and something that's on our list of stuff that we're going to do as we roll out more and more features.
See, Kendall is on a 7-kill streak right now, showing off his muscle.
So sorry, we're back to Kendall and how awesome he is. All right, so what do you got? You got a sniper rifle?
Sniper and shotgun. I'm mostly using the shotgun.
What kind of sniper rifle you got? Is it a bullet or is it firing a beam or something?
Tesla.
Firing Tesla.
Okay, so you got a Tesla sniper. Why Tesla? Is it do you like the near miss damage you get out of the electricity?
I just like seeing the body animation.
All right, so you like it for the animation. You're not using the fact that electricity gives you a little extra damage if you can't aim very well, right?
No, not
Okay.
very hard.
Did I insult you a little bit there?
I see what you're going.
No, I was just
9
'cause that
kill
was-
streak. 9.
And then you also have a Tesla shotgun with you.
Yeah.
So you're full Tesla. You're electricity boy, running around.
I want to shock and awe.
Shock and awe. Got it. Very nice.
Got it. We have a few more questions here
Cool.
for you, Mark. Actually, we have one for you, Kindle.
Yeah.
This is from Nexi, your boy Nexi. He
Okay.
says, do you prefer to play with controller or keyboard and mouse? What are the advantages and disadvantages to both?
So I actually prefer mouse and keyboard.
And I'll move the mic closer to you.
Okay, actually, next I prefer mouse and keyboard. I feel like where the controller is better is in movement. Like you feel a little bit better moving around. You have a lot more control, but mouse and keyboard, obviously, I like sniping, and aiming is a lot better with mouse and keyboard, in my opinion. So.
Nice.
Of course, a lot of it is also what you're used to. There's some
Right.
guys in here who are console shooter gamers,
Yeah.
and they love the fact that we've supported the controller.
Yeah. We have another question from Gohan here. Will there be a ranking system?
Yes, there will.
And the answer is always yes.
Well, and in truth, here there really will be.
Yeah.
So I can take that in one of two ways. So I'll answer both. Internally, the game will be tracking how good you are and how good the opposition is you're playing and how good your teammates were. So we're using a true gamer and ELO type score so that as you're playing the game, internally the game is keeping track of how awesome you are. And then that way matchmaking will tend to put you against people who are also good, as good as you are. Secondly, in terms of if you're talking about like ladders and things like that, yes, absolutely. It'll be done sort of more offline at first, where we'll have forums and things where people can arrange ladders, and then we're going to start baking that in when the clan support comes in. A big part of the clan support is to kind of formalize more, I guess, structured tournament type play, so that people who really want to show off their stuff and be against like teams can do that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we learned at PAX East when we actually got this game in the public eye for the very first time was that a lot of people love to watch the craziness, shenanigans that actually unfold, especially during this particular game mode, because matches can get really, really close and really tight, and it's really hard to take over those control points, especially that one that you'll see later on the bridge of this level, which is very difficult to control when you have two really good teams playing really well together. So we hope to have, rankings, clans, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. And again, with the clan update that we're planning, hopefully, like let's say some number of months after we were open and everybody's playing it, that'll be one of the biggest feature the team then shifts over and starts getting onto. And again, I can't give you an exact timeline because really it's ready when it's good, when we want people to be playing it.
Yeah.
So when the clan support comes in, that includes a lot of stuff like being able as a team to say have your own server even. Like a clan can have a clan server, and that way they can control the settings there.
Yeah.
And you could set up your clan server then as a tournament server, and then that would be a place you would go and be able to play your tournament games.
We have another question here from Stefan, who says, did you say Steam PC? What about Steam Mac? I've never used Steam before.
Got it. Steam Mac is coming soon after Steam PC. I'm told that that's on the grand scheme of things, that's a small tech challenge. Right now, all of our tech guys are really handling the how do we let lots and lots of people come in and play together on the game. And so Steam PC is the main thing that we're focusing on right now. If you've never done Steam before, it's free. It's really actually quite easy to get yourself set up to do it. So you would just go to Steam, download Steam, and then if you're a beta tester, Loadout is going to be there on your list of games, and you click it and you're rolling.
Yeah, and we got some good questions here. X Robbie asked, will there be hats for this game?
There will be hats in addition. So the personalization like of your character. Right now, everybody you're seeing in this is just rolling around in the standard outfit. We've got a lot of different pieces that you can mix and match and make your guy look the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
So we've got a variety of, say, example, T-shirts, tank tops, more elaborate things like leather jackets or metal armor, pirate patches, a bunch of different hats, a bunch of different pants.
Yeah, I
no
mean,
pants if that's the way you roll.
Butt naked if you want it.
Butt naked if you want. Butt naked is an option.
I mean, we have
pixelated butt naked.
We have an amazing art team
Yes,
here. I mean, at Edge of Reality, the art director, his guys, they have created some awesome. I mean, obviously, great animations. The style is great. So, pretty much whatever you can imagine, you'll be able to hopefully customize your character with. We're actually really excited about getting those customizations in there.
Yeah, because there's going to be a ton of different pieces. People will be able to express what they want their guy to look like, and there's a lot of really high-quality art coming out of that team that you're going to be able to play around with.
Yeah. We have a kind of a two-part question here. Nexi also asked, is there a spectator mode? Will there be a spectator mode one day? And then someone else asked, do you guys plan to support this game competitively? Those are kind of hand in hand, and
Right.
and the answer is obviously with competitive gaming, we have to wait and see. We are trying to implement a spectator mode right now.
In fact, well, actually, I got a little bit of news on that because it was yesterday morning. The gameplay programmer came in, kind of stuck his head in my office and said, "Hey, I was here late last night. I've got spectator mode going."
Yeah.
So he's got a mode where you can fly around kind of in a freeform cam, and then you can switch and follow any player you want. So,
And our lead programmer looks like Kratos, so he can accomplish anything
yes,
if he
can.
wants.
Yes, he can
Absolutely.
He can kill gods even if he wanted to.
If you wanted to, easily.
If you wanted to, with the right weapon.
Yes.
So spectator mode is in. It's available. We're being able to use it here, and then that will be something we'll make available to the competitive circuit.
Yeah, and ideally, we would love. I mean, that's the one thing that we realized at PAX East when we were there is that people love to watch this game, and it's definitely very challenging for shooters to compete well in competitive gaming and MLG and IPL and whatnot. Mainly due to the fact that
you still took it though.
that spectator mode is probably the bread and butter, and that's what makes games like League of Legends so popular among spectators in StarCraft, because you can pretty much see the whole battlefield. So we're trying to implement something like that for Loadout. We noticed a lot of people at PAX East really enjoyed watching this game, watching other people play it, especially when matches were very close. So obviously it's something we would love to support. And Gohan asked, how much will the game cost?
For you,
everybody gets
nothing.
a free copy.
For you, special deal, free. We're working under free to play. So, and then now I can already hear the thousands of voices going, is it pay to win?
Well, we have Lucky G ask, how will microtransactions work?
Awesome.
Will there be paid exclusives, or can anything be unlocked through gameplay? And you have a great answer for that.
So the easy summary, and I can go into more details, but the easy summary is anything that you can buy, you can also earn inside the game. Okay, so anything functional that makes you a better player inside the game that normally you'd be able to pay for. You can also earn just through gameplay. So there's nothing that's like, the $500 weapon that's 10 times better than anything else that only the paid people get. We're not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the weapon crafting is actually about choices and what you want to do, as opposed to like ranking up and getting much, much better guns. It doesn't work that way. You can go in with the beginning kind of weapon set and totally kick butt. In fact, Kendall is using kind of stock weapons here. I don't think these are handcrafted weapons that he's using.
Yeah, and it's the one thing we don't want the game to be. We don't want it to be a game where you feel like you have to spend tons and tons of money to be good at. I mean, the game is centered around really an audience that's more geared to like play style, playing well. Like Mark said, anything in the game you can earn just by playing it. And it really is one of those shooters that I think people can pick up and play and really enjoy, because obviously you've seen some of the animations. Dying is kind of half the fun in this game, and a lot of games may not feel that way, but in Loadout you'll certainly kind of appreciate the way your character can die in some pretty gruesome ways.
Right, and I mean, there's plenty of opportunities for us with microtransactions to do things so that fans of the game can pay for extra stuff and us not to mess with the way the game works. Because fundamentally, we want a ton of people coming in, playing the game, leveling up, having a great time with it, and telling other people this is an awesome game. That's the way the game is actually going to grow for us. We don't have like a huge marketing budget where we're roping in 1 million people to sucker you into money. Like, we need the players of this game to go, this is an awesome game, come in and play it with me. So fundamentally, anything functional that you can buy, you can also earn. The leveling up system makes sure that you've got a bunch of really basic stuff early on, as well as some interesting like unique items so that you can make your own stuff. And then you're going to show weapon crafting now.
So we are going to show this now.
One last thing, though, is that there are actually even items that you can only earn that you can't buy. So that's where our brains are at. Is we want to encourage the person who's playing the game to have an awesome
and come
time.
To PAX Prime later in August.
Come to PAX Prime, yeah.
Because we'll be giving away special in-game items that you guys can only get there.
Yeah.
We're going to show weapon crafting real quick. Kendall is going to basically show you his Zeus rocket.
I'm going to switch it.
You're going to switch it around, change it up some? Okay,
Yeah,
so
okay.
I guess, yeah, click on randomize some just so we can see it making a bunch of different weapons. And all the game is doing, I've never seen that before. That is so awesome. I love the fact this team is making new stuff. So click on randomize just a whole bunch there, Kendall, just so we can see a bunch of different weapons. So and all the game is doing right now is it's just basically rolling dice and putting different pieces
And how many combinations do we have now? Like over 1 million?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's some. Look, you can make just about any weapon you want to
Yeah.
at this point. So I guess the best place to start is chassis, because once you change the chassis, it changes what a bunch of the slots are, because, well, fundamentally a bullet rifle is very different from the rocket launcher. So Kendall is going to pick something that grabs his eye here and just kind of whatever he decides he's going to do. Multi-launcher is always a fun choice. So now that he's picked multi-launcher, you can look around and you can see inside the projectile there's 5 different options, and that controls things like the payload, what happens when it hits something, what happens when you press the trigger again, is it timed, what happens when it explodes. There's a stock, there's a scope, there's a trigger, there's a magazine, and there's a barrel. All of those things, all of those are pieces that can be changed. He's going in, he's picked his beloved Tesla delivery system, and now it's propulsion. Lob would give you a grenade launcher type thing. Scuttle would give you something that crawls on the ground. What are you going for here, Kendall?
He is
I'm gonna go
lob.
Lob?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's fundamentally setting himself up here, it looks like, for a Tesla sort of grenade launcher. So now he's got a bunch of other choices. Does he want to make it bouncy? Does he want to fill up the level with like bouncing grenade launcher pieces? Is it going to be sticky, which would be the option if you were going to do like an area denial sort of strategy? So you could lob a bunch of grenades into an area if they were sticky, and then you would want to pick a trigger logic that then lets you explode that either on detonation or on manual.
And this is great because now he shows manual detonation and then proximity detonation.
Well, it looks like he didn't go with sticky, though. He went with metal, which means that it's going to explode on contact, essentially. Well, it depends upon other options. God, it's hard to talk about this game like in isolation, because depending upon what you combine it with, you can make a completely different weapon. So let's see what else he's going to do here. He's considering how it detonates. So this is now the logic for when is the weapon going to explode. And he's done proximity. So now he's firing things with a metal casing that will explode on proximity. They lob out. They're full of electricity.
And this
when they explode...
Oh, no, when they explode, this is pretty much means that the proximity means that you don't have to get right on your enemy. You can just get near him, and then when he hits 6 cluster, the actual weapon separates into 6 smaller missiles.
Right.
And causes a big area of damage that can knock out a whole team, especially in that control point rush game.
He's picked flak. So I don't know, Kendall. You've picked this sort of weapon that I would make. This is sort of a huck and pray sort of a weapon that you've made here, because he's made it so that it's a grenade launcher. It's proximity. It's going to make flak, which means it's going to spread out over a big area.
Now he's put remote control.
And
on
he's
it.
doing remote control. Okay, so he's going to control this through the sights of the weapon. Let's see what you got there. Go ahead, before you do any more of this stuff. Can we see it in the test screen real quick to see what you got?
We can't show that yet.
Can't show that yet? All right,
No.
fair enough. Why don't I stop making random suggestions off
But we
the
can
cuff
show-
and stick with the script?
We can
huh?
show it in game though.
We can show it in game. Okay, that's sweet.
So
All right, he's making charge shot. Let me go back to the trigger real quick there, and we'll see what you did there. So you got charge shot. So that means that he's picked a trigger logic where he's holding down the trigger and he's loading more rockets into the barrel as he's holding it down. So if he holds it down, he'll get up to 3 rockets in the barrel, and then when he releases it, because he did a remote control scope, we'll see it through the remote control. What else have you picked? You got a standard stock, standard magazine. That also, you know what? You go to magazine. Yeah, you might want.
we can do the mini rockets.
I don't know. Nope. Kendall's saying no. He doesn't like that idea. And then how many rounds are on the barrel? He went with 3, which is sort of the stock option. You could increase that number.
And you show how you can name your gun right here too. This is the fun part. You get to name each weapon.
What is this called, Kendall?
He's thinking.
He's on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Mark's gun.
Mark's
Certainly
gun.
is. I got a gun named after me now. Sweet. Wait. Oh, okay. 1T. Good.
And the cool thing in the game is when a player kills you, you'll be able to find out what gun they used to actually kill you. I mean, this essentially is what it will say, like you were killed by Hello Kitty.
Whatever name you've given your weapon, and also like if you have a particular weapon, you kind of stick with it. It's gaining stats, so we track individual weapon stats, of the weapon you made. So it's kind of like another character. And then if you do something awesome with a particular weapon, we're going to go and we're going to like publish that inside the game. Like other people will be able to see what your weapon is and how well it's done. And even, like somebody might decide that they want to make something that counters it. If you're really
let's talk about this loadout screen real quick, because
Sure.
this is kind of show you what you can actually do as far as choosing your loadouts before you start battle.
All right, so the loadout screen is going to let him decide what sets he wants. And each loadout is 2 weapons, what 2 weapons you have that you can switch between, what your equipment piece is, what character it is, and then what 4 taunts you're using. So that's a loadout. A loadout is character, taunts, weapon 1, weapon 2, and what piece of equipment you got. You can set up these loadouts however you like, and then that way inside of the game, after you die, you can switch loadouts. So if you've got if you've got a healer loadout, or if you just want to look differently in the middle of the game, or you want some different taunts, whatever you want to do, you can set that up in there inside the loadout screen.
Yeah.
So right now, I think he's going to set up a loadout that uses the new weapon he just made, the Hello Kitty.
So Hello Kitty is there, and obviously, this your character will probably change as well as you customize your character. Right now, that's your standard customization right there. But for the most part, the game we should state that this game is kind of a pre-alpha build right now, so things could obviously change.
Sure, I mean we're in the age of we're not putting this thing in a box and saying, haha, you bought it, that's it.
We're not doing that?
No, we're supporting this thing constantly for years and years. So we're going to be talking to our community. If something's broken, they're going to tell us fast, because they're going to be pissed and they're going to put stuff on the forum.
Let's do some more.
And that's good. That's good, because that's going to make sure that the game is high quality all the time. And we're going to get suggestions. We're going to get all this feedback.
We got more questions here, which we should definitely answer. First, this is from Garlstein, probably more in tune for Kindle here, but he's known for being a great sniper. How will snipers work in Loadout?
Okay, so you can make the sniper rifle you like. Did you want to fire Tesla the way that Kendall was doing when we saw him there? Do you want to fire bullets? You want to fire, fireballs? Not only that, but there's already a piece that is called the headshot barrel that's going to increase head damage at the expense of body damage. So this game in weapon crafting is full of trade-offs, so that would be one of the pieces you might want if you were a headshot sniper. Kendall, did you get that important information? 193.
193. We're still kind of noobs in the streaming world right now. We're trying to figure all these logistics out, but I think we're doing okay.
Sure. Look, this is what game dev is like, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of messy. We make a bunch of plans, and then when we start doing it, we find out stuff is not working, which is actually why I like this whole idea of free-to-play and this downloadable game that we're constantly updating.
Yeah.
Is because when you make a box game, there's always something in there that's kind of messed up. You either have to patch it or you live with it or whatever. Here, every week, we're going to be able to come on in, and we're going to decide what we want to make better about the game, whether it's fixing something that isn't working quite right or adding some cool new feature.
So we have a few more questions here.
Sure.
We have Loadboy95.
Okay.
Asks, how did the idea for Loadout come to fruition?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the central idea behind Loadout, I mean, the place where it started, where the team got excited, and that's always nice, is when you have a small team. There was a team that was doing the prototyping here, and they all decided there was this one idea that thought was super cool, which is, what if you had a weapon and you could make your own weapon? Like, you could get inside there and piece by piece put different pieces together and make any weapon you wanted. So then at that point it was, okay, can we make that work? Is there a way to make it a good system that actually works, or is that just going to be so chaotic that it's a big fat mess? So that kind of became their mission. Not only that, but the art director's like, I've got a good vision for this. I'm working with the concept artist. We got this awesome vision for this chaotic, like, Warner Brothers meets Itchy and Scratchy meets everything explodes, everybody dies, blood everywhere, but not in a gory way, in a like everybody
comedic
laughs.
violence.
Comedic violence,
yes,
exactly.
That's what we're going for.
So they started working on that look while they were working on the weapon crafting and how can we make pieces together. And then at that point it's make a player package that feels really tight and works well, and does all this work go together and make a game. And sometimes you get to that point and you make your initial prototype and you play it and you go, yeah, we made a pile of garbage. We need a totally different idea. Yeah. In this case, it was like, wow, this is going to be hot. Like we need to put more people on this develop it out, find more ideas. What are more ideas we can add to this thing?
Yeah.
Like what kind of game types, what kind of level design? Can we do character customization? Can we do, what's all the stuff that we can do now?
Yeah.
And that's where the ball started rolling. But it all started with the idea of the look, this style to the game, and then add that to this notion of making your own weapons.
Yeah. And just to remind you guys, we are taking questions mainly via our Twitter. So tweet at Loadout any questions you have for me or Mark or Kendall over here with the hashtag weapons. And also be sure to sign up for our beta at www.loadout.com. We are really stoked to get you guys in this thing as soon as possible.
Yes.
So, and we're about to start a new game shortly here.
In the beta phase right now, we're dealing with the entire idea of the tech stuff that would get it so that anybody can join and you can host, and there's servers that keep track of the things that you own, and we can do matchmaking, we can do servers that do games. That's the thing we're trying to expand right now, so it can handle more than just the limited number of people that are currently in the closed beta. So as the tech guys are being able to get more and more of that going, like as we feed them more and more pizza and late nights, because that's basically what fuels it, then they're telling us, hey, give us 100 more people, give us 1,000 more people, give us however many more people they need in order to find out where the system goes wrong next.
Yeah.
And at some point they get it all worked out and they're like, let everybody in. That let everybody in phase we think will happen sometime during the summer, but up until then, periodically we get asked, hey, give us this many more guys, and that's where we're going to be drawing the names from, is that beta sign-up sheet from www.loadout.com.
Yeah. We have another question here. This is from Chick One Pack. Hey, will the game have some kind of RPG level like leveling up system,
Sweet.
or just some reward points for you to buy things with? Which actually is a good question. So
That's a great question.
yeah.
So, the way the game works, I guess the two ways to think about the RPG elements is that there's going to be levels and then there's going to be challenges. So, as you're playing the game, as you do well, as you gain experience, you are leveling up, and everything you do inside the game, you'll see as Kendall plays the game, you'll see little numbers flash up, and these are like style points he's getting for doing cool things inside the game. So as you get style points inside a match, as you win matches, even if you lose matches, you're gaining experience, and your guy will level up. So every time you gain a level,
same thing.
we are going to reward you for that. There will be challenges. There'll be different daily challenges. There will be challenges that you can kind of unlock, as a thing that you're going to go after. There'll be a variety of challenges thrown at you. Every time you complete a challenge, we're going to reward you. So what are the rewards going to be? Well, in some cases, we have that sort of programmed in because we know that we want you to have certain things by certain levels. Like, if you haven't gotten a sniper barrel yet, we need to give that to you. And actually, that's a bad example because we give that to you up front. We give you a lot of stuff just from the get-go. But what we'll do is we're going to roll some dice and decide what thing you get so that everybody's things are different. And depending upon what level you achieved, depending upon what challenge you achieved, you might get a rare item or a very rare item, or you might get a common item.
Oh.
And so as you're playing this game, you're constantly, as you level up, as you do challenges, you're getting new things. And then you can go in and decide whether you want to incorporate that into some weapon or invent a new weapon or whatever you want to do with them.
Yeah. We have a few other questions here. Some of them are really, really good. Essentially, if this game gets big enough, will it go to console, Xbox, PSN for console lovers? And we get that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
The easy answer is, damn, I would love that. The thing is, though, we've got a certain number of people working on this game, and right now the thing that we all want more than anything is to get other people playing this game with us. Like, to be able to say to everybody, no matter who you are, even if you're not on our closed beta list, you can download the game right now and start playing with us. So that's the thing that's on our mind. Yes, we would love to be on consoles. It plays really well, actually, on consoles. We've done that internally. The game plays fantastic. So right now, though, our whole focus is how to get this thing working Steam PC so that a bunch of people can play this thing and start telling the world how awesome it is.
Yeah. We have Mr. Tkrunk over here who asks, how big will the maps be and how many game modes do you plan for launch? Another great question.
Yep, fantastic.
Yeah.
So how big are the maps? This map right here is one of our smallest ones. This is definitely the smallest map.
Yeah.
This one plays really well, even only 3-on-3. It feels like it's very chaotic. The game you've been watching, where it's really been action-packed, as you're watching Kendall run around, where basically something is always happening. This is a 4-on-4. I think at times it's been 3-on-3. So actually, this map's tight enough where if you have even small teams, it is just a buttload of fun. It doesn't feel empty or anything like that. We've got some maps that are bigger than this that will support up to 6-on-6. And the nature of our game is that small teams make it work well because the game is chaotic enough with all the different weapons and the fast action that really big teams, you start losing what the heck's going on. Did he ask about numbers? So how many game modes?
Yeah.
So again, I'm going to emphasize this is a game that is ongoing support. We could, if we wanted to, ship with, I think there's 8 or 10 different experimental game modes we're messing with right now.
Yeah.
What we want to do is we want to come up with 2 or 3 really good ones that are our first ones and have some that are kind of in the experimental section of the game so that some of the beta testers, they can know they're getting into an experimental game mode. They can play it, they can give us feedback on how that game mode went, and then some of the more popular experimental ones will become part of the regular rotation. So initially we're thinking we're going to keep it rather small and have only 2 or 3 game modes in the regular rotation.
I won't interrupt you, but this is exactly why remote rockets are really great. So as you can see, what Kindle's doing right here is he's launching a rocket. He actually controls exactly how it moves up and down, left and right on all axes. So you can pretty much direct your rocket directly to where all the action is. So obviously that control point over there on the far right side of the screen is the one that's been activated. So now he's actually killing people from the opposite side of the map. So granted, you will be able to find out where those rockets are coming from if you're a smart enough player, but it's great strategy for Kindle to play kind of defense as well as protect his team, especially if he had made that rocket a healing rocket.
Yeah, that's right, and that's an interesting thing that you can do as well. When he said, I have a sniper healing gun, that might sound weird. It's like, why did they put a sniper healing gun in the game? We didn't. We gave Kendall pieces so that he could make a sniper healing gun if he wanted to. So remote control missile like the one you saw there, if you attach a healing payload to it, you've now made a remote control healing thing. That's actually really useful on some of these area control games because what you can do is as your team is grabbing the control point, you can be supporting them with healing from a safe place. Again, there's all kinds of different ways to play this, all kinds of tactics and strategies, depending upon what weapons you've made and how you like to play.
I'm actually looking now, and a lot of people are asking, what engine is this?
Ah, awesome. Thanks. Thanks for asking that question. This is our engine. Edge of Reality has actually been around for, I think, 13 years now.
14,
12 or 13?
over 14, yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
So we've made a whole bunch of different games with our own engine. And so this is the engine internally that is developed kind of over the long haul. All the features of it are ours, and the engine team, kick-ass job, has not only been doing all the stuff that would be required to support multiplayer and all the things we want to do in terms of letting people into the beta test, but also adding all the features into this game that we've been requesting so that it's exactly what we want. So this is our engine, and we basically control how it behaves and what the features are in it because we want it to be for our game.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a few other questions here. Obviously, Red Hat Drew asked, will we get to see Fisher today? He obviously keeps up in what we're doing, but
right.
The answer is no.
Somebody requested a specific level. That's
well,
awesome.
because we put up a screenshot yesterday of the first screenshot of Fisher that our art director gave me, it's not ready just yet, but you will see that, especially if you go to the Rooster Teeth Expo in Austin. July 7th and 8th will also be there. We'll have a booth, so people that are from Texas, in Texas, or near Texas can either come on in and hit up the Austin Convention Center and see that level in action.
And if we're talking about something like, Rooster Teeth, you just mentioned July.
Yeah.
By July, if you're a fan of the game and you're listening right now and you've already signed up for the beta test, I've got every reason to believe that you've already played at that point, you're going to be playing Fissure there on the beta test. So you'll have already played it and you'll be giving us feedback on the level. It is a bigger level than this one is.
Much bigger, yeah.
It's actually pretty complicated in the way that it's put together. It's got a lot of different levels, a lot of interesting connectivity. That map, there's a capture the flag game mode that plays really, really well on that map. Capture the flag doesn't work on a very tight, compact map like this. It doesn't work very well, obviously. But on a map like that one, it works really, really well. So that's a very popular game mode here as we're testing, is to play capture the flag on Fissure.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions about obviously spectator mode. I think a lot of people are concerned about being able to shut off the HUD so cinematic creators can actually make their own videos, and it's definitely something that we will look into. I don't see why not, but
it's something we do ourselves when we're doing things.
Yeah, so I mean, we know it's possible.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for you guys that create videos and stuff, I don't think will be a problem.
No, and I mean, like, definitely as a person who's made a lot of box product games, this is where I have a gigantic sigh of relief, because it's like, have we thought of that already? Maybe. And if we haven't, I guarantee you that all it takes is for somebody to mention that in the forum and for us to go, oh wait, that is a really good idea. We should have done that. And then 1 week, 2 weeks later, suddenly you've got that feature.
Yeah,
so,
and once we have the beta, once we're full on ready to launch the beta, we will have a forum for you guys to submit feedback to. We obviously want to hear from you guys because we're gamers like you. We're self-publishing this bad boy,
yep.
And we pretty much have control.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Especially Mark.
That's a great point. Well,
yeah.
The surprising thing is that the team is actually surprising from the point of view of somebody who maybe doesn't know game dev or how it works. A lot of times you've got a publisher and you're making the publisher's game, and the publisher is telling you what they think people want. So here we are making a game that we would love to have exist. Like, we're like, this is the game we want. And then so we're going to then reach out to people who like games the way that we like games.
So real quick, I want to interrupt you one more time.
And see what you're guessing.
I want to see the end screen here. As you can see, the two teams tied, and you probably saw the points that each player earned, which is pretty much how we rank, like any other game at that point. But you saw Kindle. What was your kill death ratio?
1.7.
1.7. So I mean, that particular game, you kind of were all over the place. You were healing. So. You can get rewarded for playing all kinds of different styles.
Yes,
you don't have to just be run and gun. You can actually sit there and heal and earn a lot of points to buy stuff. Anyway, I interrupted you about the way the industry works.
No,
so
I managed to finish it off, though,
Okay.
is that the entire idea is that we're making a game that we love. We want to make sure that it's something we want to play, and then we know that if we do that, we can say, hey, you guys also love games. Come play this game. Tell other people how awesome it is. And tell us where we've messed it up so that we can fix it.
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of respect for a lot of teams out there that have done this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we're basically trying to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Another good question from cbrooks787 on Twitter. By the way, guys, if you want to ask us any questions, please tweet at Loadout any question you have with the hashtag weapons, so me and Mark can see it. We're not able to gauge the chat room. We're very far away. So
yeah.
But cbrooks787 asks, will there be different character models?
Yes. In fact, I keep wanting to say we've got it now, and then telling Kendall to add it into the game. Obviously, I don't know what we can actually show right now because just technical things. But yes, we currently have got a second character model who is sort of loosely based on a Mr. T / Kimbo Slice type look to him. Same style as the main character you saw there, in terms of like this really sort of larger than life, hyper cartoony, hyper violent dude.
Yeah, and you should be able to see him also at RTX in Austin. We haven't had an exact date on when we're going to obviously unveil him, but you'll see him soon.
A good point to make, though, is that even the base character, if you change his hair and make him a blonde and completely change the way his hair looks, give him some facial, hair that's different than his stock facial hair, change his clothing, he suddenly looks like a totally different guy.
Yeah.
And with the customization options we're going to be giving you, you can do that. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of different base character models, but also there's going to be a lot of customization features that let you make him look the way that you want him to look. Our third character that's in the pipeline is, I guess we've kind of been calling her codename Helga internally.
Female
character,
yes.
I guess loosely based on kind of a big Viking, operatic, Bugs Bunny, kicking butt and taking names like all of our characters are. All right, so
we have some other we have some weapons. If you want to talk about what Kindle's doing.
We've started another game. We're doing. It's the same game type on the same map.
Corkscrew.
Yeah, it's corkscrew now.
And now he's got a corkscrew weapon.
Yeah, but it's charged though, so.
It's charged. Okay, so the charge trigger logic lets you hold down the trigger and load up to however many at a time, depending upon what you've made. So he's now firing 3 corkscrews down the corridor and completely missing. And is on fire.
And is burning to death a lot.
Nice. But corkscrew is one of the propulsion methods that you can put in there for rockets. I find that it is helpful in a lot of cases because as it's corkscrewing out, you are increasing your chances that it hits something. Which, in a case for somebody like me, I spend a lot of time thinking strategically, how can I make a weapon that's going to make up for the fact that my accuracy is not as good as some of the people I'm playing against.
It also helps because people can shoot down rockets. It's harder to shoot
Yeah.
down.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Kendall, only KL would think of something like this, where he says it's beneficial because it's difficult for people to shoot down your rockets. Yeah, that's a great point. A lot of times when I am dumping fire rockets on the arena, good players will see it coming and shoot it out midair. So corkscrew makes it a little bit harder for them to shoot down your guided missiles.
We have a question in regard to items. What about items that you can get only by playing the game? Are they available for everyone whenever they join, or event only? The way that works right now is, again, like for example, our plan is at PAX Prime to give beta users, free items that they can only get by attending PAX Prime. So those type of items you will not be able to purchase or earn in the game. They're going to be exclusive to you if you do show up at the show. But everything else, like Mark said, you will be able to earn in-game just by playing it, or you'll have the option to purchase it.
There'll be cosmetic things that are purchase only, but none of them will give you an advantage in the game.
Yeah.
So everything else will be earnable. The things we give out like PAX Prime will fall into that category of cosmetic stuff, or it might be like a weapon payload that shoots a particular. Like if we had a weapon payload that shot little ping pong balls with PAX written on them, it's not something that gives anybody a big advantage. It's just kind of cool and cute, and probably would behave a lot like one of our other weapon types.
Yeah.
But it would be a neat kind of shout out to people who are early followers of the game.
But you guys will have plenty of chances to auction that shit off on eBay.
Right.
So don't worry. Do weapons have unlimited ammo in the game? If so, what's the reason behind this?
Okay. So up in the upper left, we see where it says Bulldog 19 of 25. Or excuse me, now it's EMP 11 of 11. So what do you got here? This is a EMP.
It's a Tesla shotgun.
This is a Tesla shotgun he's got. And did you just switch back and forth? Are you switching between weapons just to confuse my explanation? Awesome.
No, I'm switching for different scenarios.
Okay, dude, I get it. Could you just, for just a second here, play it slightly suboptimally for the benefit of the audience?
But when I respawn, it's going to switch.
All right, so 25 at 25. So right now he's got 25 in the chamber. Every time he fires, it's going to count that thing down. When it gets to 0, he has to reload. Can you run out of ammo in the middle of fighting the game? No, that's lame. I hate that. Why is that fun? There's an interesting trade-off between the number of kind of bullets in your chamber and when you have to reload, and so that's in the game because there's a cool trade-off there of what kind of guy do I want to be? Do I want to be somebody who can spew a lot and then duck and cover or run away real quick, or have high damage bullets but they run out after a few shots? But running out of ammo when you're still alive sucks. This is a very fast-paced game that we're not trying to take you out of the action ever. So being out of the action because for some reason you're out of ammo is terrible. So that's the idea behind that. Is philosophically we want you in the action at all times.
Yeah, speaking of, we had a question about the maximum amount of players that you're hoping to have on one map. So in this particular map, obviously it's a very small map, but I believe we could go 6v6 with this.
You could go 6-on-6 on this map. It is crazy.
Chaotic.
4-on-4 is chaotic enough. KL here, who's a very strong player, is dying a lot. Which is not a bad thing, by the way. This game is really all about getting in the action, staying in the action. Yeah, do it in a smart way, but dying is not like a big failure state or anything in this game. Because as you can see, you come right back into the action. On Fissure, I've played a couple 6-on-6 matches, and that feels right for that map.
It does.
It feels nice and full of action without it being something you can't keep track of. That's right. Right now, we're thinking the game is best served by 6v6. As we start experimenting with more maps, more game types, we may be convinced that we want to go bigger than that, but right now that's where the game is really sweet.
This is a good question, too, by BBarTech89. Will there be any type of perk system, example, you can run faster or roll farther or jump higher? And the one thing we haven't actually mentioned was boost.
Right.
Yeah.
So we, right now that's being handled through the equipment system. So if you wanted a particular perk, then you would take a piece of equipment that is associated with that perk. That is an area that is one of the... I'm trying to remember what exactly the order of things are that we're working on. So Clan is our big delivery, but we've got some minor deliveries in between already planned out. Like we've got a support plan where we're going to be shipping things out, new features of the game, new content on a regular basis. So the idea of how equipment works and diversifying, I think, comes pretty early. It's considered a minor feature because it's not as big as, say, clans. And so like right now there is equipment where you can have like a buddy turret. There is equipment where you can carry around like juice grenades, which would make you run faster and jump higher. That system is going to get diversified and have stuff added to it fairly early on in the program.
Here's an interesting question that that we haven't been asked yet, but it's I'd love to hear your thoughts on. Will we be using any kind of Steam trading system at all whatsoever? Will players be able to trade amongst each other?
So we want that to happen.
Yeah.
We are looking into exactly how we do that without. All right. So our biggest concern is that whenever you do something like that, you've got to be worried about security and can somebody come in and ruin your game
and take all your crap.
And also, are you encouraging people to do things like trade inside the game and bring the entire game to a halt? Like if you're playing a game like look at the pace of this game and try to imagine one or two guys sitting there trying to arrange a trade in game. So we don't want that to happen for sure. So we got to think through, how do we allow trading, because we definitely want to allow that. How do we allow trading without having ruin kind of the game economy or having hackers or whatever come in and ruin the game? Because honestly, if there's a piece of equipment that some guy has earned by playing this game or is paid for or whatever,
yeah.
If somebody can come in and just have that in the match, that completely sucks. And that's the thing we're most worried about, is making sure that people who've earned it feel like it's protected and it's a real thing, as opposed to just something that anybody can get if they just like hack the game. So trading, we absolutely want to do that. We want to support the Steam Workshop, but we got to make sure that it's secure. And again, that stuff is coming after we get this game that you're watching right now up and rolling, so that everybody can play with us.
Yeah. We had a couple of questions on the leveling mode, the leveling system.
Yeah, okay.
And what exactly that does for you when you level up.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you level up, okay, so leveling up basically does two things. One is it's just sort of it's a nice ongoing way of showing how long you've been in the game and kind of how much cred you've got within the game. So like if you get into a game and some guy's level 78, you know that he's been around a while. So that's cool. But in terms of functionally, what does it do for you? As you level up, every time you gain a level, we're going to give you a new thing, a new item from out of one of our toy boxes. And the higher your level is, the kind of better, it's not better, it's really not, it's rarer is what it is. Rarer toy boxes we're going to pull from. And the reason I corrected myself there is because in a lot of RPGs, you get to level 78 and the weapon you've got, the sword you've got, or whatever you've got is like, 3, 4, 5, 10 times better than what you had when you were at level 1. This is not a game like that. Your equipment at level 1, we're going to give you an assortment of common items. We're going to give you an assortment of some weird stuff so that you can start making weapons that are unique to you. That weapon will be just as good functionally as a weapon of a 78th level guy. The difference between you is that the 78th level guy's got more options, he's got more choices, he's got more pieces to choose from. So he's probably been able to fine-tune things like the recoil and exactly how the weapon behaves, whereas you've got more limited options. But on the level 78 guy, when he gains level 79, we're going to give him a rare item from out of the rare box. And that might be a cosmetic item that nobody else has seen before. It might be something functional that he doesn't have yet. So leveling up is basically how you get new toys. If you don't want to pay for this game, if you just want to earn your way through everything, leveling up is how you earn all the pieces.
Yeah, another question that we're also getting, Mark, is this one particular from Steven Strom on Twitter, is the minimum requirements for PC. He signed up for the beta, but he's not sure his computer can handle it. It's kind of bad. So obviously we get a lot of questions asking about the specs.
Right.
And
we have no tech guys in the room right now. I really don't know. Here's what I do know. I know that the guys are talking about sending out a questionnaire to everybody who signed up on the beta, asking about what your machine specs are. And I know in some cases Steam has already collected that information.
Yes.
So we're about to ask a lot of the beta sign-up people to give us information about their machines so that we know what we should be aiming for.
I know we're DirectX 9. I know for a fact that my computer is 4 years old and it can run it.
The phone just rang, so we'll see if it's a programmer who's calling up to tell us the answer. So a lot of guys here in the studio, either while they're working or kind of on the side here during their break, are watching this stream. So we've been getting people kind of sticking their heads in and saying, "Did we get an answer to the question?" Nope. Okay.
No. Okay. We are pretty much coming to an end, guys. It's almost 3 o'clock here, but we do appreciate everybody coming on to watch Loadout in
and for all the
action.
good questions too. That was nice not having to remember to talk about every part of the game,
nice.
like people asking good questions.
Yeah. Once again, in order to get access to the beta, please go to www.loadout.com. Sign up for the beta there. You can continue to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, as well as YouTube. We're pretty much Loadout in all of those. So. We really appreciate everyone coming in to watch. This is Ty.
This is Mark.
This is Mark.
KL is at the controls.
And we'll show you Kindle here real quick.
And, of course, a whole team full of guys who worked real hard to make this thing possible, to make this game possible, and are continuing to work real hard in order to get this to people as quick as they can.
Yeah, and we were working super fast, and we really, really cannot wait for you guys to play.
Because really when it comes down to it, the people you're watching right now are not the people who did all the hard work to make the game work.
No, not at all.
We'd show you all of them if we can, but...
I don't even know why they pay me. No. Anyway, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.